Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of puppets. Today looking at the first beer that was sent to me from the box of beer from Munkebo Hjemstavn, a newer Danish craft brewery. I've reviewed a good amount of the beer and they make some nice stuff, but this new series of beer really has caught my eye. It's kind of a series, they call it Hjemstavn something, which kind of translates into homestead, and it's beers that are made with their own yeast. So they made a lot of testing and stuff. I think they work with a PhD student as well at the university in Odense, and they found a few yeast strains, but the one they chosen to use, which I think is the one they like the most, is the one they called Munkebo 004, which should have notes of peach and apricot. So this is really cool. This one is the one I wanted to review first of them all, because this is a harvest ale and kind of follows the tradition of making wet hop harvest ales in the US. So I kind of wanted to do that first because the hops on this one, I don't know when they were harvested and used. I don't know if they were dried. There's much info other than the fact that this is like 100% Danish beer. There's nothing in this beer that isn't Danish, which is really cool. This one of course has the Munkebo 004 yeast, but not only that, it has Danish malt, and they also use Danish hops in it. But you think Danish hops, there's no Danish hop beers, because it's wild hops that they've gathered around Foon, and they only made 54 bottles of this, so it's a pretty limited beer, and I got bottle 49. But they gathered these hops, and I think they also gathered like some of the vines or the roots, so that they could make their own hop field now at the brewery, which they've done, and then hopefully throughout the years they can get a little bit bigger production and make it on a bigger scale. But man, that's so cool. That is so from kind of farm to table like, or terroir, or whatever you want to call it. It looks nice in the glass. It kind of looks like a super hazy pale ale or something like that, like a golden color, super effervescent. Nice 2-finger whitehead. Let's check out the aroma on it. It's 100% Danish ale. Oh, it's almost got like a mix of pale ale and like Belgian undertones to it, like spicy and yeasty. I can definitely see what he's talking about. He's talking about with the citrus fruit, like the peach apricot thing. But the yeast really kind of reminds me of something you'd find in a Belgian pale ale or something like that. It's very jammy and fruity actually, like almost like a peach jam or something like that. The hops aren't super dominant, but again, that's often what you get with wild hops. There is definitely hoppiness in it. It's kind of grassy, citrusy, lemony, but it's really the yeast that shows like itself. There's also like a sweet malt flavor to it. Let's try this 100% Danish ale, the Munkebo Hjemstavn Harvest Ale. Cheers, and thanks to Munkebo for the beer. Very jammy. It's a very sweet estery yeast flavor. It really leads my thoughts into like thinking of Belgian beer, like Belgian pale ale, but kind of with a twist of almost like Weizen type flavors. I don't know if that's the yeast that's given this mouth. I mean, this is the first time I ever tried this yeast in a beer. But it's got a pretty, even though it's so effervescent, it's got a very chewy mouthfeel, almost similar to something you'd find in a German Hefeweizen. Pretty nice flavors. Again, it's more the yeast that shines through, I think, than the hops, because wild hops tends to be, you know, kind of more like milder in flavor than the cultivated ones that are, you know, man-made to create these kind of intense flavors and whatnot. There's definitely a peppery hop flavor. There's some citrus, orange, but it's definitely that yeast that's dominant in it. It's also got a good kick of bitterness, but definitely like peppery, bitter. It's got some leafy green, kind of almost like earthiness as well to it. 6.5%. I completely forget to mention that as well, but I like it. It's nice. It's not a mind blower, and this is one of the first beers they've done with it. But I'm really looking forward to when they're going to start dialing in beers with their own Danish created house yeast strain, which is really cool. It should be nice to see what beers they are going to churn out once they get you know, more familiar with brewing with the yeast and some of the other yeasts they've created. So rating wise, guys, for the Munkebo Hjemstavn Harvest Ale, I'm gonna go 87. It's kind of really fun, almost Belgian, yet not very jammy, fruity beer. It's really nice actually, but nothing mind-blowing as I said, but something that will be really interesting to follow. And it's 100% Danish. I love that. That's so cool. And I love kind of historic beer tradition and all that stuff where, you know, like going back in the day, everyone locally brewed beer and whatnot. This is kind of going back to that, which is really cool. So looking forward to trying the others. I also got the regular Hjemstavn to review, which is not made with harvested hops. And then their Strong Ale edition. So I think it's called like Hjemstavn Strong Danish Ale, which is like an imperialized version. So that should be interesting. So guys, if you get the chance, hopefully at least some of the 54 people who got to try this will watch this review. And yeah, let me know what you think. And hopefully you'll get to try it next year when they're gonna do it again. So if you got to try it, let me know, guys. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. I'm gonna say cheers and see you guys in another video.